Everybody, I just thought I would do, as I'm getting ready to do another project, I just thought I'd do a little video on my shopping day out on Sunday, just some things that I picked up. I really went there to get some scenic stuff for bases, like shrubs and flowers, and I'll show those. That was my main purpose for going, but I always tend to stroll by the old miniature cabinets at my local gaming store, the Sentry Box, and there was some stuff in there that I was interested in across many different things that that I buy for, and so I thought I'd actually just do a quick show today for those that are interested in that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not going to go and do product comparisons on the shrubs and flowers today. If people are interested in that, I can do that. I just finished, as you guys know, the Rangers, the Crantera Rangers, and I put some meadow flowers and some poison ivy, which I use just as weeds. It looks great as weeds. I noticed that I'm running, I bought some Army Painter scenic stuff a while ago, like years and years and years and years, and they've lasted me a long time, but I'm really running low. And so I just decided to get a bunch of them. And the Army Painter stuff looks like it's changed a bit since I last bought it. Like when I got some what they call meadow flowers here, and what I have here is all yellow in the pack, where I'd gotten a pack that was half yellow, half white, and I'm not certain if if they are totally the same. I still have some of my old ones, and I'm going to have to compare them side by side. But I got those, and then I also have these, which I've never owned, and these are the lowland shrubs, and these look really nice. They don't look, this particular one doesn't look overly bright or overly dark, and so I think they'll find their nice place among the various green foliage that I lay down sometimes. What I also realized is that my local gaming store also has a product that I've never used before, and that's Gamer's Grass, and they had quite a variety of these, and so I wanted to try these out, so I picked 2 of them up. Now I need some whites, and so I picked up their white flowers, white flower pack. And then I also picked up some dark green shrubs. I think you should be able to see that pretty well. I did pick these. They had some bright green ones too. I picked these primarily because I did feel that they were a bit different looking than the Army Painter ones. These are darker for sure, and so it'd be nice to have a variety. There were some really bright ones too, but I thought I tend to use these more for my historical gaming and really, really bright stuff. Like other than the flowers themselves, like bright shrubs, I just didn't think that would be my first go-to. So I have those. I might do, if people are interested, a comparison of different brands and types of tufts and flowers. The other thing that I picked up were some old Chaos Renegade Rogue Trader Marines. Now, I've shown it on the channel. It's been a long time, but I have a little collection going of a Tzeentch Renegade force of, so they're like basically Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines, and they're primarily like pre-Thousand Suns. I have about 20 of the metal fixed posture, what I'll call just Thousand Suns. They're Tzeentch Renegades is what they were marketed as, and they're the really the core of that force. And I have Sorcerers, I have Chaos Dreadnoughts, I have I guess I said Sorcerers. I have all kinds of stuff like that. I even have some what I would call sort of Chaos Thugs that are more, they're the brats for like the old school brats. They're like humans, you know, that are just sort of very punkish looking. And this is really a theme forest, really something I could use in small skirmish games is what I'm doing it for, and just something as a painting opportunity. But I also have one like these already of the champions. I think they were marketed as champions, Tzeentch champions. And I noticed these in the cabinet, and I even picked up a Nurgle one just because the salesperson I was dealing with offered me a 2-for-1 since I've been buying a bunch of them. What I really wanted were these two initially, because I already have a third where he has a third arm, and he looks like these. He has the pink horror kind of face in the body, and so he looks like he's twisted, you know, in that way. And then this one does too, has that demon face in the body, no head, but with a chainsword and a bolter. So I really wanted those to pair up with my third one, so that makes 3 of those. But then I also noticed they had this guy, which I was really looking for, because he has that bird look that is basically characteristic of Tzeentch. So he's got a bolter and a gun that's a hand that's formed into a, like, it looks like a plasma gun, and it's basically that bird sort of look. I've always kind of wanted this guy, actually. But then, you know, just noticed that's when they offered me the deal for 2 more. Now this one, he has the moon face and a mushroom body and a power fist. And so, very Tzeentch. And so with that moon face and in particular. And, you know, being the Lord of Change, you know, actually, I think he's Tzeentch. He's a mushroom body, which oftentimes could be considered Nurgle, but he's got the moon face, so I think he is, I'd have to look in the catalog, considered Tzeentch. We'll see. But then what I did pick up was this guy, because when I realized I could just do 2-for-1, I picked up this guy, and I just have always liked this miniature. He's a Nurgle Chaos Space Marine, and he's got the little Nurgling on his shoulder, I believe is what that is. It's painted dark. I must say, these are really painted in a very cool old style. I wouldn't say it pains me to strip these, but I do think that they're really nice already as is. Really nice job, very old schoolish, but I will strip them before I paint them. And I don't know in what order I'll do these with my other force. I'll probably start with my Thousand Suns just to get the core done, and then I'll work on these at 1.2. I also have one of the fantasy champions that I have thematically for this force that's on the hoverboard. That's a bird holding like a scroll as a sorcerer, like a Birdman, Tzeentch sorcerer. Yeah, so quite pleased with these to get my hands on them. Reasonable deal. I wouldn't say I got the 2-for-1 was kind of nice. So that really sweetened it, but I wouldn't say that this was the most amazing of the deals that I got. But I'll go on. I'll move to something else. As many of you may remember, I started playing Epic, and my force is a Space Marine force, Epic 40k. Now I play Epic Armageddon, but they had 2 offerings of land speeders. They had what I believe to be and what was marketed as the actual Epic Armageddon land speeders. I think this is, because I don't play with the land speeders and it's been a while, these are the standard ones with the standard armament, and these I think are called the Typhoon, I think. They're not Whirlwinds, but I think it's the Typhoon. It's a different loadout. And so I got 3 of those. It's been a while since I've even played Epic, and because I haven't used them, I don't even know what they come in as far as units. But this was a really fairly good price, and then actually so were these for 8 of the old style. And so these have a couple of different armaments. It looks like perhaps Stormbolters on some, with multi-meltas on others. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. But these just look really cool too. Just going in here. I'm going to do them side by side, just as a comparison, but just to show how they show the Space Marines and stuff. This is probably the best that I can get as far as distance on camera, but you can see the Space Marines here and in the cockpit there. They're both metal, and they both look really nice. This one's a little bit bigger, but if actually part of it is the armament swinging out, if I actually showed the other ones next to them, totally next to them. They're not honestly totally different in size. I mean, this one has the bigger wings and it looks a little bit bigger, but it's sort of doable. Like, I think I'd even be fine running them next to each other, to be honest. I don't know how many of these I'm going to need, but because Epic stuff can be really expensive, and this was a pretty good deal, and of course no shipping because it's my local store, and their used shelf, it was actually great, and so I picked all those up. I still have to paint some some aircraft for Epic at one point, and so I'm probably just going to move this stuff all into that pile for an Epic painting project in the future. Last but not least, I have some old school, I believe original Silverhelms. I think. They're old school ones. I'm not sure if they're the very first of being called Silverhelms. I think they are. I think the cavalry that came out for even older versions of High Elves and Elves and Fantasy were just altogether called something different. And now, this was the best deal of the day. Now, there's a price associated with that, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But I ended up getting these for 25 Canadian dollars. So that's, for those of you, I think that would be in the area of $18 US for 6 cavalry of really collectible old miniatures. Now, they're on the upside. They all have all except one. Let me see. I'm not sure if the Standard Bearer is supposed to even have a shield. I'd have to look, but they all have shields except the Standard Bearer. So that's a good thing because I do find those little shields harder to cast. Because of the curve and everything. Like, they're just, I probably could try to cast them, but I don't know. In any case, 2 out of the 6 do not have a tail. And so I will have to cast up. I'll likely just do a green stuff cast for 2 of the tails, which I'm not too fussed about. I think this should be fairly easy to cast. Not too worried about it. And then the Standard Bearer, this is where I definitely, this one's not supposed to have a shield, but he is supposed to have a sword. And that's the reason why I've already purchased online a replacement just for this body. And to be honest, it's going to cost me about as much as I paid for all of this. That's how cheap this was. But I'm not that worried about it. So I'm sort of rescuing. This is sort of, I didn't even get this on eBay, but this is sort of like an eBay rescue in the sense that I'm going to strip and, clean these guys up and repaint them and make them into an old school High Elf unit again, for the Silverhelms. Now, this guy here, like I said, I've already kind of replaced, and then I just have to cast up 2 tails, and that's all I really have to do to make a $25 Canadian purchase into a pretty good deal. This was the best deal, in my mind, out of it. Now, I do have 1 or 2. I have to go back into the lot that I bought of High Elves, but I have the next version that were considered middle hammer, so they're metal, and all the horses are brand new, like they've not even been painted ever. But I have a unit of the next generation of these, and it might even, it's about the same size or double. I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2. I'm not sure what you guys think. Like, I think what I'm going to do is, I'm definitely going to keep them. And I might use them just if I ever wanted more just behind. Or, I'm not really sure, to be honest. But I have, with the High Elves collection that I've not gone through on camera yet, I have tried to make a significant contingent of it the earlier collectible style that I like. And then there is still quite a bit that's newer, but when I say newer, I mean like in sort of 5th, 6th edition area. And but yeah, and so a good amount of it, though, I'll have a nice Old Hammer force really as the core of it, which is what I really aimed for. My Beastmen are a mix of both. Like, I have a lot of Old Hammer, and then I have a lot of later stuff. And my Orcs, and goblins are pretty much middle hammer, and so I'm not even attempting to make an older force out of them. I'm just keeping it, because the bulk of it is middle hammer, I'm just keeping it as is, of that sort of generation. And then my high elves, really the core, and even more of the core than the beastmen, are old hammer, and I'm trying to focus on that. And then I'll be using some of the middle hammer later metals when needed for gaming, but hopefully my collection will be mostly old hammer with this one. So I haven't showed too much of that. I just thought I'd show these high elves today, just as part of this little loot unboxing. I hope that everybody's week is going well, and talk to you later.